Reckitt said, right, we're going to make sustainability core to our business model?
Okay, so well, if I go back a second, I think, increasingly, if you see if I look at what most communications or corporate affairs people try and do, it's storytell.
Yes.
And the ability of an organization to tell its story and how effectively it tells its story is increasingly important. It's increasingly important to attract talent, to retain talent, to be able to partner with people, because people want to partner with organizations and companies that they know and trust and they're familiar with. It's super important for your relationships with other key stakeholders like governments, for example, because in many instances, we're in a heavily, increasingly regulated sector. Absolutely. In consumer health. But also investors, because a lot of what investors get is they often hear about or see or read about you externally as well. It's not just about what they see when they talk to you, but it's often what they hear from others outside. So storytelling is at the heart of it. But for me, therefore, what it is that, the story that you want to tell is increasingly intrinsically linked with the corporate purpose, what the company exists to do, what it stands for, what it speaks to. And that is rooted very much in its approach to its impact on society. And the impact on society is essentially your sustainability ambitions. And I have been very careful not to use the word sustainability strategy, because I actually think there's only one strategy of a company. You might see it as a business strategy, but in fact, there is one strategy. And how sustainability plays its part within that is an integral element of it, but it's not distinct from it.
I love that you've done that, because a lot of corporates have put sustainability strategy either to one side, it's separate to the commercial strategy, or it's CSR reporting on the other, that's left separate from the financial reporting, etc. So I love that you've kind of said, no, it's the strategy of the business, and sustainability has a part to play in that. And
by the way, I was going to just say one thing about that, because I think that you said a few words a few minutes ago. You said, listen, why did Reckitt decide to do this? What was it? Well, actually, I came to Reckitt on the understanding that was the job I was going to take. Some of it, therefore, starts with leaders, individuals, new leadership, and people coming in with fresh perspectives. Yes. But the other piece of it is just that understanding that for many years, Reckitt, if you associated it with anything, it was seen to be a high-performing shareholder brand, virtually invisible with many other stakeholders, and therefore there was a sort of understanding that for the company to continue to grow, and we talk a lot about medium-term to long-term sustainable growth, encapsulated within that notion of sustainable growth.
Yes,
is this idea that your responsibility as a business is increasingly seen through the lens of different stakeholders, multiple stakeholders that you have to serve the needs of.
That's right.
And for us, it starts first and foremost with our own people, but it's about our customers and our consumers being at the heart of everything. We have to be, customer and consumer obsessed if we're going to be successful.
Yeah.
And the desires and the needs and the aspirations of those consumers and customers is changing as well. And they're increasingly asking companies to do more and to stand up and say more, just as like an employee is. So it's not necessarily that somebody, someone sat there and thought, oh gosh, let's just pivot in a new direction. No, I think the signals were all there.
Yeah.
And people are understanding that this is the future direction of business if you want to remain a successful business in the long term.